around 2 o'clock. Actually, almost. It's 2, 3. Pretty late. I'm gonna paint my nails. It's been a long time. I thought, why not? Why not do this? The problem is, I can't really mount this anywhere, so I do apologize if you can't see anything whatsoever. It's crazy how I have to, like, set this up. No, it's impossible. If I do this, it'll fall. I can't really mount this anywhere, so kind of. I think this will fall. It looks secure, but it will fall. So, have some newspaper. Have my hands. So here's what I'm going to. I will. I will obviously put this on the floor and talk about some stuff, because it's going to be very difficult to do both at the same time, obviously. So let's just put this down close to my voice so you can hear me. Is that better? Okay. So today is Thursday. Wow. Okay. I haven't done this in such a long time. I feel like I forgot how to do it. Okay, let me just put this back. Let me be seated properly, because if you don't get seated properly, it's just gonna be terrible. Okay, I just removed my sandals. Why did I do that? Because it's uncomfortable to squat and at the same time just paint your nails. I'm squatting because I wanna exercise at the same time, burn up some meat at the same time. It's kind of difficult to paint the thumb, which is not a surprise because the thumb is always inverted. Now, this nail polish is slightly different. You can actually peel it out. It comes out way easier than anything else. I wonder if my window's open because the smell is so strong. Let me just cover up certain sections. Okay. I don't wear this often because it's kind of hard to put it on and stuff like that. I rather not really wear it every single time. I know there are people who wear it every single day. Okay, let me show you. It was pretty quickly. Pretty quickly it was. As you can see. Okay, so I have to let this dry. And as that happens, we'll just talk for a moment. Because why not? Why not talk for a moment? I feel like I missed some spots. Yep, I have missed a couple of spots. Great. So let's just talk about the story that I'm working on. I'm working on 2 stories, and the time I'm not really working on anything. I'm normally pacing about, but as I'm pacing about, I'm actually thinking. I'm be thinking, and I'm also thinking about the story that I'm working on, and I have plenteous of ideas. The problem is that I will never get everything done at once. So let me just work with the simple stuff. So I did mention I'm working on a very old school traditional story, and I wrote a couple of paragraphs yesterday, and then late at night I was just thinking how the story will revolve, and turns out the story is going to be pretty cool, because the more I think of something, the more I think of a story, if I'm just left alone to think of a story, the more I can cook up a brand new uh, timeline, a brand new story, a brand new type of story for that story, if that makes any sense. I can't really let this be very simplex. I have to add a lot more elements to it. So you'll see a lot more strange things that you normally don't see in a story. Like you'll see certain type of animals, some animals talking, which is not really a shocker, but it's just the type of animals I choose. Now, you will also be surprised with the other type of animals I use as well. Um, okay, okay. So I feel like most of the animals in my story are very, very much uh, very old school, as in prehistoric. Most of them. I'm doing most of them as old school because you know I really like having a lot of prehistoric things mixed in, um, and giving them purpose as well. So when it comes to like the simple animals, like some of your birds, I think I'll keep the birds, like very normal, like our type of birds. I think that's a good thing to do. Uh, I think keeping some of the farm animals will be kind of cool. You know. That being said, I rather have a lot of prehistoric animals as well. But obviously, this book, you're not going to get so much. I don't know because I haven't really planned the end yet. All I know is that it's gonna feature a very traditional enemy, an enemy seen throughout thousands of books, but this time I have to give my own little flair to the enemy. You know, I'm using a very simple trope, the most traditional trope in history, and you have to kind of spice it up. You have to add your own ingredients, add your own characters, and that's what I'm doing. I'm actually making the story feel a bit more alive. I'm making it feel like it has a sense of community, as if it's a thriving environment. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make you feel as if you're part of the world. So when I describe certain things, I will sometimes be very, very textured, whereas sometimes I will be giving a light coat of description because sometimes some things don't really need like thick descriptions because sometimes I overdo it with descriptions. I'm someone who loves describing stuff, and you will see some of that in some of my books. Not necessarily these ones, because these ones, I'm rushing. That's why I chose very simple plot points. I'm not really going that far to make such thick lore in this one. Yes, you will find a lot of interesting characters, interesting stories, interesting backstories, but I'm not going to dive so deep compared to my other stories because this one is going to be pretty light. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, okay, they dried. Next hand to go. Okay, I missed another spot. It's hard because your fingers are kind of bent, so you have to kind of you know do all this type of like retouching, and then when you retouch, sometimes it goes on your finger, which you can easily scrape out. That's one thing I like about this polish. You can easily scrape it out. So if you have a problem with it, don't worry, don't fret. You can easily scrape it out. Or, just wash it off. It's kind of cool. But, if you're going to scrub it on your nails, it is going to come out. So, yeah. Okay, moving on. As we wait for this, I'll continue talking about. I'll continue talking about I'm sorry of my airy hands, I never shaved it. But I'll continue talking about some of the other ideas I have. So, right now, right now, I'm just starting with the first book. The second book I'm working on, I did mention in my previous live stream that it is going to feature something a bit more modern. So it will take place in this type of timeline in our world, basically, which is kind of shocking. Some of you guys may like it, some of you guys don't really like that type of stuff, and I understand why, because some of you guys rather escape. But that's what I'm trying to do. I'm not gonna infiltrate it. Is that how you say it? Infiltrate? I'm not gonna infiltrate most of my stories with modern day politics. Unless I'm writing a separate book about politics where the characters are pretty political, then I will dive into politics. But the next book, the second book I'm working on, is not going to have any touch of politics whatsoever. So don't expect any political thing whatsoever. Just because it takes place in like modern times doesn't really mean it's going to have some kind of political allegory. I don't really like doing that unless I'm working on a political book, and I want to work on political books. But sometimes when I feel like I'm writing political stuff, I always want to add like two sides, no matter what. You always want to give some kind of political diversity. You always want it to be textured at times. Okay, okay. So I think this is completely dried. It's time to work on this and. Now this and is my dominant and, so obviously it's going to be a bit more difficult to work on right on left. But anyways, let's do it. I really wish I can show you this. I really wish. But unfortunately, I don't have any tripod. I think I should add that to the list of things I need. But do I really need it right now? No. It's more for want than anything else. Okay, let's go. I'm not a right-handed person, so here goes. Oh, I dropped on my skin. How embarrassing is that? Look at that. All over my skin. Now I'm gonna quickly rub it on the paper and rub the thumb on the paper, but I'll have to scrape the leftover parts out. Just scrape it out. I'm not good with this, on the right hand. Will I ever master writing on both hands? Not really, but I feel like it's a good skill to have, just in case anything happens to your dominant hand. Let's just say you lose it, or let's just say you can't use it for a couple of years. Then I think this is perfect. Learning with your non-dominant hand is 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 gonna take some skill, but it's totally worth it. Okay, I'm just gonna add the second finger, the index finger. I don't know what you call the fourth finger. I don't know. Is that the ring finger? Or the middle finger is the ring finger? I don't know. I don't know what people call the fingers. But I'm going to assume the fourth finger is the middle finger, is the ring finger. Well, technically it's the third finger because the other, the first one is actually a thumb. Then you have your second finger, which is your index finger, and then your third. No, 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 no. Your first. I'm mixing it up. I don't like this. I really don't like this. You see, but overall, regardless, I'm now on my third finger. Well, middle finger. Let's just say middle finger because I don't know what else to call it. Okay, gonna add an extra coat to that. Okay. So as I was saying about my books, not everything's gonna have some kind of allegory. I grew up hating allegory. There were times where I would just watch a cartoon and I didn't like when it just was so overly political because it's like I don't care. I don't care about that. Why do you have to add it into a world that doesn't need it? That's the kind of like the problem about modern writing, especially the modern writers. I'm sure many of you all have heard other people complain about this, so I won't really annoy your ears, but I guarantee you that most of modern writers in Hollywood, most of them, not all of them, but most of them believe one thing: all art is political. When that's not really the case, I feel like all art is not really political. It's just whether you want it to be or not. If I want art to be political, then it's going to be political. If I want my stories to be political, then it's political. You understand? Just because, just because someone says all art is political doesn't mean it's political. It's not political. I feel like a lot of people have such low standards for politics these days. That's why everything for them is like some kind of propaganda machine, which really sucks because they ruin such wonderful stories. I'm sure some of you guys have heard some beautiful stories ruined by social justice warriors. Just recently, the author, Roald Dahl, am I pronouncing his name right? Regardless if I pronounce his name right or wrong, I've heard of his name in the past. I've heard it echo in the past. Do I have any of his books? I don't know. I must check. But nonetheless, I have heard of him in the past. Now, the problem is that recently the publishing company of Roald's books, the publishing company of his books, what happened was they decided to censor his work. And this is pretty terrifying because the man is dead. The man is not, yeah, is gone from this world, unfortunately. He can't defend his own work, you know? And many people are backstabbing him. I've heard his family called him anti-Semitic, and look, people from the past time, yes, they have certain views. Must you kill them for that? No, no. What's up with the modern world and erasing stuff? That's one thing I've noticed about the modern world. Erasure is something that they love completely. The modern world loves erasing stuff. I can guarantee you that. The modern world is obsessed with erasing stuff. That's the truth of it all, you know? They love to erase stuff because they have not created anything of their own. Anytime you have such a wonderful tale created from people 100 years ago, it always has to be ruined by people of today because they have no standard for good storytelling. Everything has to be by their rule or everything else sucks. That's all I'm trying to say. Okay, so I'm drying it up right now. As you can see, it's pretty messy, especially this one. This finger. All over. It's pretty messy. I will have to wash some of it out, so I might have to wash the nail as well. But overall, on the camera, it's very unnoticeable. But in real life, it's pretty bright. It actually glows, so you can tell, hey, it's nail polish. Now, as I dry my fingers, let me continue talking about how my stories are going to be. As I mentioned, the second book I'm working on will take place in modern times. Obviously, that means you are going to hear some of the modern slang, but I'm not going to throw political slang. I'm not going to throw all this crazy slang, political slang, just to appease people. I know very well that I don't really care about the purchasers, those who purchase my stories. I don't really care about their politics because that's a very private business, you know? Politics is supposed to be very private. Now it's all up in the air. Everyone must breathe it in, apparently. So I don't really care about those who purchase my my books. I don't care about their politics because that's very private. Politics of the buyers are very private. That's something a lot of people must learn because let's face it, let's face it, I don't really want to know other people's politics. I'm not in the mood for learning other people's politics unless they actually affect me. You know, that's like a lot of people these days only just want to know everyone else's politics. I understand why. Sometimes you want to check if this person is safe to watch, and sometimes I do that. But then at times there are people who are just apolitical, and you just have to accept that, you know? So I want my work to be somewhat escapist. I will work on political content, but I will keep them very separate from anything else. Because if I'm going to work on something political, might as well make it completely separate from all of my works. There's no way I'm going to connect them all together. I don't like that. I really don't. So when it comes to gaining an audience, I don't mind if the audience disagrees with me politically. I don't mind that. I know I know these days people just want everyone to agree with them. I don't mind. I really don't mind if if my future buyers of my books disagree with me. I don't mind that at all. As long as they're enjoying the product, that's it. I don't really care about personal politics. If I'm writing a book about a cat and a dog, how does it have to do with any political problems? You know, if I write something based on anything fictional whatsoever, it's apolitical. I will write fiction that will be political, but I feel like separating them from my other pieces of work will be more important than anything else. That way, if people are interested in getting into the political side of things, they don't have to feel that they have to read everything else, all the other fictional stuff that don't really tie into politics. And for those who don't like the political stuff, they don't have to feel chained to the rest of my work because the political work will be separated. That way, they can enjoy the non-political work without really feeling any type of disgust whatsoever. I think it's dried, but just in case, I'm just gonna leave it here to cool. I hope I made myself very clear. My throat's starting to hurt. Oh, I hate it so much. Okay, so let me just continue and say that um, writing is very fun. Once you get into it, it's amazing. I have a lot to learn about writing because I'm still a novice, but I really like creating new worlds, creating new environments, new characters. I really like it. Okay, so what else can I talk about? Let me give you a laptop update. I have not checked anything yesterday nor today. I don't know if it's gonna work or not, and I'm afraid because I know I could be easily disappointed. I rather just I rather just keep quiet and just do my own thing because I can just purchase another laptop. I'll save up for it. You know, that's like my main plan right now, to save up for it. My goodness. Some nail polish went behind my tablet. Not really a big deal, just a small little splash. Not anything big. Not anything big. Don't worry about it. So, okay. Here we go. Okay, I think it's completely dried. Anyways, I'm very tired. I really wish I had a glass of water. Ah, my throat is completely withered. Oh. Okay. So to kind of, to kind of ease off this video, I just want to say that I enjoy writing. I enjoy writing fictional content, especially content that doesn't really define politics or doesn't really define modern day real world politics. I really enjoy those types of works than anything else. Um, okay, what else can I talk about? I don't really know what else to talk about. That's the thing. So I'm gonna end it over here. Just one quick glance at my nails, and okay, bye.